In the boom that immediately followed the war, traffic increased prodigiously. Freight and passenger revenues for the year 1920 totaled nearly $6 billion. To a new high, too, rose railroad employment, with more than 2 million men banded together in one of the strongest labor brotherhoods in the land. As prosperity marched forward, as more and more goods were being produced and sold each year, freight receipts, backlog of railroad revenue, stopped growing. The answer, of course, was the advent of motor transport, but not until they had made first-hand surveys, clocking off the lengthening lines of laden freight trucks, were railroad men convinced of the reality of truck competition. Hit even worse was passenger traffic, for America was turning more and more to the public highways. In key cities throughout the nation, even the skyways began to cut in seriously on passenger traffic. Thus, undermined by competition, with the Depression, rail revenues crashed from their post-war peak. Down $3 billion in 1933. To Washington come executives of leading roads to plan united action. Comparing notes, they abandon hundreds of miles of unprofitable track. By other economies, slash their expenses by some $2 billion. Railroad labor, appreciating that its livelihood too is at stake, agrees through its leaders to wage cuts and further layoffs. Railroad-owned buses replace abandoned lines. Up go advertising budgets to dramatize new departures. To popularize new avenues of sport and recreation. Free store-to-door delivery meets truckers on their own ground. And from the Midwest comes an even neater scheme. Motor trucks carried on railroad flat cars to give them a quick, safe run through the hours of darkness. New speed, new refinements become the keynote of railroad endeavor. To increase efficiency and catch the public eye, streamlining enters railroading. One road so disregards tradition that it goes to a private industrial designer, receives plans for a train which is ultra-modern, and so fleet that it will actually challenge airplane time between Cleveland and Detroit. Whether railroads like it or not, and there are some who dislike it intensely, from June 2nd, 1936, the maximum fare on all U.S. lines is 2 cents a mile for coach passengers, 3 cents a mile for Pullman. Today, opinions differ on the wisdom of this ruling. That the public likes it is sure, but as swelling crowds flock into new Union terminals, as the lure of the streamliners stimulates traffic on every type of train, looming before the industry today is the question of whether the new loaf will prove but a costly experiment, or whether 2 cents a mile will provide enough revenue for the upkeep of the railroad's brave new world. Time marches on.